Hi, welcome back to 411 Motorsport. I'm Ash and today I'm going to show you a little bit about our Mazda. This is our Mazda MX5. It is a 2001. It was registered in July 2001, so it's a very late Y plate. It's a Mazda MX5 Jasper Conran edition. So what the Jasper Conran gives you is some fancy leather seats, which are lovely and soft, not particularly comfortable, but they're nice and soft. And you get a Nardi steering wheel and matching trim. This car would have come with some special alloy wheels, which are no longer on the vehicle. They would have been sold at some point in the car's history, and instead we get these Halfords special alloy wheels. They're 15s. They're not very nice. We're going to be changing them very soon, or at least once these tyres have worn out. I've already got a set of Enkei 15-inch wheels to replace these with, and I'm just waiting on some nice sticky rubber to put on those. So yeah, overall the car is quite clean. There are some scratches and marks both sides and on the boot around the soft top. Apparently this is due to a previous owner fitting an incorrect soft top which flew off on the motorway. There's a few more sort of bumps and scrapes on the front bumper, as you would expect for a car of this age. For those of you that know the cars, they tend to go rusty on the rear sill on both sides and on the front chassis rails. This one has got quite solid chassis rails at the front. It has had some repairs to the rear sill, as you can see here. And then on this side it's relatively clean. There is some scabbing on the driver's side under here, which normally indicates that it's gonna need some work, but for the time being it's not too bad. The interior of these cars is a really nice place to be. This one in particular, it's quite nice to drive. There's no rattles, bangs or squeaks. One of the first things that I need to do is delete these sun visors. They do absolutely nothing, and I can't see with them down like that anyway, because I'm too tall. So I'm going to completely get rid of these so that they don't get in the way of operating the soft top. So in the interior, it originally came with a stereo that didn't work very well at all and you couldn't see the screen. So I just popped in this Sony DAB unit. I don't have a DAB antenna connected, but I just use it with the auxiliary port. The power retractable antenna doesn't work either for the FM radio, so that's something that I will look into. The steering wheel on this particular model is quite plasticky. It's quite a slippy, shiny, plasticky. It feels quite nice, but if we're going to be doing a bit more motorsport with it, I want something a bit grippier, something that we can quick release as well to help get in and out of the car. The gear knob is very well worn. It's the original one that came with the car. Same with the handbrake. These can both be replaced cheaply, so that's something that I'll look to do soon. And a previous owner has hacked at this trying to get a stereo in or out of here. And then the last bit of Jasper Conran trim is these shiny MX5 kick plates. Let's have a quick look under the bonnet. We bought the car as essentially as a non-runner. It was running really horribly. I didn't even test drive it before I agreed to purchase it, and the reason for that was because it was £700, and you don't find a car this solid for £700. The car is a 1.8 with 148 horsepower. As I say, this one wasn't running very well when I went to have a look at it. It was missing, it was running really rich and really lumpy, but I was confident that it wasn't a major issue, so I went ahead and bought the car anyway. When I went to go and pick it up, I took a box of tools and some spares. I took some plugs and leads with me, and in the hope that I could drive it home. If not, it was going to be an RAC jobby. The owner before me said that there was a water leak on it, so he replaced the radiator, which is why the radiator's all nice and shiny and new. I don't know what else he did to it. He did say that he'd done plugs and leads, and then after I bought it, I found out that it has had a water pump and timing belt fairly recently. The car, as I say, was running really rich and really horrible. By replacing the plugs and leads and reseating the coil pack plugs at the back here, I managed to get it running enough where I could drive it the 40 miles home from Dartford, where I picked the car up from. And then after that, we managed to diagnose that the timing was out on the cam timing. So if you don't know, there's the timing belt sits behind here, and there's a plastic cover here as well, and there are two cogs, one here and one here for each of the so the inlet and the exhaust cam, because this is a twin cam. If these aren't right and in the right position, then the valves are opening and closing at the wrong times, and that is what was happening in this scenario. I'll pop in a clip to show you what it was running like before we bought it. And then after we found out that the timing was wrong, the exhaust cam was one tooth out. That was adjusted, and now it's running a lot better. Whilst we were troubleshooting the rough running of the car, we noticed that it was throwing a code for the VIX solenoid. The VIX solenoid is the variable intake control solenoid, and what that does is it opens up a chamber inside the intake manifold in order to allow more air in after it gets to a certain RPM limit. So there's a switch back here which activates the solenoid, which is here. So this switch was replaced, and that stops the code and got the valve working properly. It was also throwing a code for the MAF, which was also replaced. So now that all those problems have been sorted, huge thanks to Simon and Adrian at ASM Automotive Engineers in Farnham. They took the car on with a week to go before the Abingdon Auto Solo. Simon is the chairman of Farnborough District Motor Club, so he had a lot on his plate getting the event ready, but they took the car on and managed to sort it out on the Thursday before the event. So we picked it up on Thursday morning and it was running absolutely spot on. He also put it through its MOT for me. It needed brakes and the headlights adjusting, which for a car of this age isn't too bad, I don't think. Yeah, so that's about it really for the car. That's how it sits at the moment. It's tatty, it's cheap, it's incredible to drive, and it's going to be a lot of fun. In terms of modifications for the car, I've already got a TR Lane roll bar lined up. It's in the garage, it's ready to install. I'll do a video on that later. I'm also waiting on delivery of some Michelin Pilot Sport 3 tyres in the right size for the 15-inch end keys. Once they're delivered, we'll get them put on and use those for track work. I probably won't drift on those because I don't want to waste a nice sticky tyre. But they'll be our set for when we do auto solos. I also want to do an exhaust on it because at the moment it just sounds kind of stock. I want a little bit more noise. We can't go too loud because of noise restrictions at a lot of circuits, but I might do a cat delete and a stainless back box just to give us a bit of a nice sounding exhaust. So that is our £700 Mazda MX5, which Emma and I are going to use for motorsport and for driving on days like today. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel to follow our adventures through motorsport, and follow our Instagram at 411 Motorsport for more regular updates.